Tonight on Newswatch 18, Coach Rhodes and the Cyclone football team pulled off a historic victory in Austin yesterday. See what the Cyclone Nation had in store for their team upon their return to Ames.
Ever wonder what LARPing was? ISU TV's Brandon Blue went to find out what the Medieval Recreation Club is up to with their event called Rush.
And ISU TV takes a look at one of the university's most generous student organizations, Closets Collide. All this and more tonight on Newswatch 18. Good evening and welcome to the October 24th edition of Newswatch 18. I'm Lexi Hanna.
And I'm Natalie Froisted. Mad cow disease is a mental condition found in cattle that can be passed on to humans through the meat.
That condition has been thought to be a concern in sheep as well, but thanks to a scientist at Iowa State, that fear may be able to subside. Jacob Pietrich, professor and chair of Iowa State's chemistry department, has found through research a reaction in the animal's eye when hit with a certain light. According to the research, the eyes of infected sheep returns an intense, almost white glow when hit with the blue fluorescent light. This is an accidental discovery from Pietrich and his contributors while developing a device to check for E. coli contamination in slaughterhouses. With that finding, Pietrich is now on his way to finding a testing device for the disease in animals and humans. The findings were published earlier this year in the Analytical Chemistry Journal, with the project being supported by a grant from the U.S. Department of Defense.
The Iowa State Daily's 8th annual Stuff the Bus food drive event took place this weekend and brought in plenty of donations. Despite losing the Cub Foods location this year, the event drew in non-perishable food and money donations from MICA, or the Mid-Iowa Community Action Food Pantry, benefiting those in need in Story County. Stationed outside various grocery stores in Ames, volunteers took donations and loaded them up onto Cyride buses parked outside each location. The donations will help feed nearly 300 families or 1,000 people as the holiday season approaches.
This weekend, the Iowa State student group, the Medieval Recreationist Club, worked with the Society for Creative Anachronisms to hold Rush, the Royal University of Sheer Havoc.
Today we have gathered for a day of classes. New people get an opportunity to experience things that they've never done before. People who have been around like we have for over 20 years, there are still things here that we have not participated in either, and so it gives us a chance to sit down and maybe pick up a new hobby or try something that we've never done before.
Rush is a day-long experience where participants attend classes on subjects such as dancing, arts and sciences, and medieval combat. The goal of Rush is to provide learning opportunities which focus on all aspects of medieval life. Roughly 200 people from around the Midwest attended Rush. Students who are interested in joining the Medieval Recreationist Club can contact the club at medievalisu@gmail.com.
For those wishing that professors would uphold the intentions of the so-called Dead Week, those students might be in luck. The government of the student body will be reevaluating in the next few weeks the official Dead Week policy. The intention of the investigation is to see what changes could be made to the overall policy and eliminate the vagueness of what is written. GSB President Luke Rowling, as well as the rest of GSB, feels that professors may be taking advantage of the gray areas of the Dead Week policy, and the investigation is set in place to make everyone aware of the requirements.
Well, Liz, today was pretty gloomy. Are we going to see any sunshine at all?
It'll stay pretty cloudy for the next couple days, and we're actually going to see our first freeze here in the next week or so, so that's definitely something to look out for. If we take a look at the day planner really quick, tomorrow for the most part should be pretty nice. Tonight, at midnight, it'll be around 56. We may see a few drizzles here and there, but not too much more rain. West-southwest winds around 5 to 10, and as we go into tomorrow, you can see temperatures will be increasing. Around 3 p.m. it'll be about 73 degrees, and winds will definitely be picking up. Stay tuned for your full week forecast after this. Welcome back to Newswatch 18. We're going to take a look at your forecast around the nation, but first, you can see 61 degrees right now in Ames. It doesn't seem like it'd be that warm with how cloudy it's been, but that's attempting to trap some of the heat in. So right now we're at about 61 degrees. It's actually not going to get too much cooler tonight. You can see right now Ankeny's sitting at 63, Fort Dodge is sitting at 61. So pretty much right around 60 degrees for most of the area. And again, this continues into pretty much the whole state. 58 up in Mason City, 63 down in Des Moines, and you can see it's just a tad bit warmer off to our east. 60 in Cedar Rapids, 62 in Davenport, but for the most part, pretty much right around 60, maybe into the mid-60s. So pretty decent fall temperatures today. Lows today, you can see 55 in Mason City, 60 in Des Moines, so there's only a couple degrees between the low today and the high. So definitely stuff moving in. We've got a front that moved through today, which is what gave us that little bit of rain. And if we look at highs today, you can see 66 in Des Moines, 63 up in Mason City. So again, it didn't get much warmer than it already was. And that's going to kind of continue into tomorrow. But if we look around the Midwest, you can see 55 in Minneapolis, 67 in Kansas City. So down south is still seeing some warmer temperatures. But for the most part, we're sitting right around 60 degrees. And if we look at the radar, you can see not a lot going on. There's a few snow showers actually off on the coast. And there's a few showers from this system that was moving through earlier this week. But for the most part, it's pretty calm. We don't have too much to worry about. And if we look at forecast rain and clouds, you can see that system is going to move through. We may see some rain tomorrow. For the most part, it'll be pretty nice until tomorrow evening. There's some more thunder showers expected. So as we continue through, you can definitely see that starting to take into effect. Forecast temperatures for tonight, you see we only get down to about 53 and 64 for the high, and we're going to continue. We're actually in a high wind warning right now, and that's going to continue through tomorrow. We're expected gusts for tonight, 50 degrees. Tomorrow we have gusts expected around 10 to 20 miles an hour, 75 degrees.
In our continuing segment on Iowa State student groups, we move on to a group that has more of a philanthropic angle.
Chris Blakowiak takes a closer look at Closets Collide.
Coming up after the break, Jared Ransom.
3, 2, 1, let's swap!
As part of an English project that one of the girls in the AMDP major had. We're going to have different options to make like denim jeans into wallets or computer parts into earrings and stuff. So it's a really cool way for the community and ISU students to kind of participate in something where they can change items that they use every day into being sustainable goods. And anything that's not going to be used is going to be donated around the community.
With over 500 items of clothing to choose from at this year's second annual Closets Collide event, you can trade in up to 10 items of clothing for 10 tickets and walk out with 10 exchanged items of clothing. It all started as an English project for Kelly Layton last year, but this year it grew to something bigger. As a student organization, Closets Collide event attracted over 200 attendees. And if this trend continues, next year is supposed to be even bigger. Shoes, purses, and baseball caps were also among the items to be swapped. For ISU TV, I'm Chris Blakowiak.
Coming up after the break, Jared Ransom joins us to highlight a great weekend in Cyclone athletics.
Stay tuned. You're watching Newswatch 18.
The trend of a somber sports segment is over thanks to a historic win in Austin. I'm Jared Ransom with Newswatch Sports. The deck was stacked against Iowa State this weekend. The Cyclones have never beaten the Longhorns. Iowa State road record over the past 5 years is nothing to write home about, and Texas is coming off a huge win against formerly number 5 Nebraska in Lincoln. So how did ISU respond to all of that? Well, they traveled to Austin, Texas, and led the entire game. While Texas may have outgained Iowa State in every offensive category except rushing yards, that category was dominated by our own Alexander Robinson, who got a shout-out on ESPN after showing this weekend. It was the turnovers that once again put Iowa State in the driver's seat. Iowa State only turned the ball over once, while Texas put it back in the hands of the Cyclones 4 times, 3 from interceptions by Garrett Gilbert and 1 on a fumble. Now, like I stated earlier, the Cyclones led the game the entire way, only letting Texas get as close as 7-3 in the second quarter. Even after 2 demoralizing defeats at the hands of Utah and Oklahoma, Iowa State seemed like the team that wanted it more, coming out energized and ready to erase a bit of history a long time coming.
They came back to work on Sunday, they came back to work every day, and you see the result will happen in Austin, Texas this afternoon.
Immediately after the victory against the Longhorns Saturday afternoon, the athletic department put together a pep rally to greet the team as they came home. Social media was utilized, the band was informed, and the word spread quickly of an event that was really well put together. Now fans crowded into the Bergstrom practice facility last night to welcome the team back home after a historic win in Austin. Coach Rhodes and each of the captains spoke to fans about the appreciation they had for Cyclone Nation and that the best is yet to come for the team.
You know, I got to tell you, one of their fans was asking if the state of Iowa is even a state. And I think after today, they know who the Iowa State Cyclones are, and I hope we put Ames, Iowa on the map.
It was a time to rejoice for both the fans and the team, but they both know that there are still games to be played. Kansas is next up for Iowa State as they prepare for homecoming and Pack the Jack weekend. Now the winning continues for Cyclone Athletics as the ISU volleyball team enacted revenge against the Kansas Jayhawks, which took them by surprise earlier this season. The Cyclones defeated the Jayhawks 3-0. All sets were close, but Iowa State dominated the entire way and showed why they're ranked number 12. Senior Victoria Henson had 16 kills on the night and also throwing in 9 digs. Carly Jensen and Jamie Straube also collected double-digit kills with 10 and 11 respectively.
And that is all for Newswatch tonight. Join us again Tuesday.